and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back. Music City, baby! Man, I did some lunges last night, you guys. Legs are absolutely noodly to start, and then just played some one-on-one basketball with Luke Taylor. You know, y'all can reach out to him, ask him what the score was. I don't want to, I don't want to brag. I don't want to brag. You know, that was a great game. Luke's a solid player, but I had to give him, I had to give him the business. I just got a little bit of that size advantage. And so now I'm thinking, now that my legs are extra dead, a course as physically demanding as Mill Ridge should be so much fun to play. But I think it'll also remind me to keep it easy, keep it calm, keep it in bounds. You don't got to do too much. You don't got to impress to play good golf. You just got to score birdies and not score bogeys, right? So I'm going to throw a Luna breakfast ball, and then let's get to it, y'all. Maybe a lunch ball, I should say. Make sure we're rolling. Quite a few changes to this year's course here at Mill Ridge for the Music City Open, presented by Another Round, I believe. And hole one this year playing into a green that we've always played into from a bunch of different directions. I think this is the third iteration we've seen playing into this green. Definitely a beautiful spot on the course. 280 straight ahead. A lot of trees as you get to Circle's Edge, and there is that small cliff to climb. So play faster than you need if you're going to go down low so you can get the skip. Try to get up top. You'll also probably see some right-hand players take some spike shots. I'm going to opt for up the gut with the Raptor. Went in the basket? Oh, almost buzzed the koozie right there. We'll take it. In case you guys have forgotten already, I'm Connor O'Reilly. You can get these COATs exclusively at otbdiscs.com. Code Connor for free shipping. Also, Cardinal Disc Golf. Got this sweet jersey on. Also code Connor there. It's going to save you money and help support me on the road. And don't forget to give me the loot. Best chalk bags in the game. I just did a chalk bag review as my last video, so go check that out. And a lot of reasons why they are the best, truly. So go watch, see if you believe. I just threw one right there for a park job birdie to start. So I think the loot, it did the trick. You always love when you don't even need to bring your real putter to the lie to start your round. Let's go. 1-3-1. Okay, guys, we have a jumping spider friend. Come on, focus. Focus on the focuses. There you go, you can see him right here. Come here, buddy. Oh, no. Come back, bud. I'll take you back home to the bonsai. You've seen this hole before. It's now hole 2. 559-foot par 4. Out of this small gap through the woods, you only have maybe 80 feet to clear before you're out in the open. Maybe 100 feet most. But it is very narrow, enough to make you feel a little tense. So take forehand or backhand, whichever one you feel best about getting through that gap. You don't really need to get off to the right too much. It's more about pushing the disc towards that out of bounds line that's up on the hill along there. The further left you are coming into the green will give you more option variety of the angle you can choose. I'm going to go OptoX stiletto forehand. Yesterday I got the booster skip off that rock out there. Why not try again? No booster skip. Almost fell off the side of this tee box. That is one thing out here at Mill Ridge. I would love over time if we could build a little more of decking around these tees so you can use whatever side of the tee you want and not risk falling 2.5, 3 feet, 4 feet on some of these tees out here. That is my main complaint, but I think this is a beautiful property and it gets better every year. Little PSA, if you've never played out here at Mill Ridge and you're thinking about coming to try it out, highly recommend, but also highly recommend to bring a lot of fluids and a mid-round snack. It's going to be almost as much walking as you play, if not more, on an 11,000 foot course. So you're pretty much walking 4 miles plus. And the hills are steady out here, but they're large and they will get you out of breath. So it's a great hike for sure. Always important to be specific, especially on an open course where maybe depth perception isn't the easiest. Plus we play a different course every week, so sometimes those open courses versus the wooded courses, the depth is just a lot different. I got 315 or so in to the green. Pretty stock forehand distance. I'm gonna go with the Captain's Raptor. Pop it out there on some hyzer. let it fade. There is some rough on the right to avoid, and the out of bounds line on the left is kind of out of play at this point. It just kind of goes straight towards those other tees on the left. Okay, maintained the hyzer really well there. I heard a limb on the way in. Should be circle one. Let's see if we have an obstructed putt or not. This has always been one of my favorite spots on the course, especially as they've cleared out the rough here, so you can see this cute little drainage pond swamp thing. Wonder if there's any fish living in it yet. I really love this property. It's pretty. It kind of sucks that we always play it in some crappy conditions every year, it seems like. But for the most part, it plays well, and yeah, hopefully over time we can get more and more resources and drainage out here in the right spots. So I'd like to keep coming back. I think it keeps getting better, and I think it will continue to do so. I just want to take a second to hop on and thank all my fans who wish me luck and support me week in and week out, regardless of how I played. Honestly, my game's been feeling pretty good this year. Had a couple tournaments where maybe it hasn't showed as well as it's feeling, but I did also have a 12 down final round there at Waco with 3 missed circle one, so I feel like I'm right there on the verge of playing fire. I just gotta stay out of my way mentally, commit to the shots, play loose and free with my body, and understand that I can build a good enough game plan and practice to always trust it come tourney time. And I just gotta be smarter on some of my open shots, not missing on the unforgivable sides, missing on the side where you get to make progress, take par, bogey save at worst, versus the side where you have to rethrow again because you don't make progress. Little mistakes like that are gonna go a long way when I clean them up for rising me up the leaderboard, and I feel really good about how the season's shaping up, honestly. Hole 3, another hole that we've played quite a few times. Recently, I think last year they added this over-the-top blocker in the way. I believe it doesn't actually act as a mandatory. You can still try to bust it over the top if you want, but it's kind of taking that play out of a lot of players' repertoire. A lot of players usually just throw a shot over this stand of trees here to avoid having to play that gap shot and then kind of deal with what they got. Today's wind, pretty heady, not great for that shot necessarily. Other shots are going to be like a setup shot short of the gap here that you're going to be able to play a bigger shot into the green, or you can throw the flex forehand through the gap, try to give yourself maybe a putter in. So you either go like putter driver or you go driver putter. So I really like that about the design here. I'm gonna go regular opto. This is my straight stiletto. Put it on a little flex forehand, let it fight out. Gotta remember there's some headwind coming. Nice little pop over. It's a bit higher than I intended, and because of that, I didn't quite get the push through the gap. I went to the gap, kind of caught those trees on the right side before I got out. Should be an easy par, but birdie's gonna be tricky if I don't have a full swing in there. We'll see what we got. Okay, here's a good look. I'm right here in the gap. I hit these far side trees. Unfortunately, bounced far enough back where they're not in my swing, so definitely still a good chance at birdie. About 340 in. Use that loop bag to read the right to left wind to help make your disc selection. I'm gonna go with the compass. When you get yours at otbdisc.com, it's gonna have a eagle stamp holding a snake in its claws, commemorating my Delaware win in 2021. Still got a few of those on the site, and they fly money. Check it out. Like I said, a little bit of crossing wind here. I'm just gonna hit it flat at the basket. Okay, I leaked that one a little bit right, and so I got held up in the crossing wind. And yeah, now I got a little bit of a hairy C2 putt. But you can see, even in that right to left, it didn't really burn over like a lot of compasses will. One of the more stable runs of compass out there, and just a little bit off on the wing angle. Okay, it makes a little more sense as I get out here. I feel that the wind's a little more off this direction. I thought it was a little more off that direction. So as soon as I kind of got my disc turning at all, the wind just kind of beat it up, pushed it that way. Okay, yeah, these cedar trees definitely make for some difficult lies. You're gonna have to do what I call your yoga, kids, and be flexible on a course like Mill Ridge. Okay, got the foot behind the disc. No real good way to putt to the side of this branch, not quite that long. So I'm gonna have to try to go just here over the top, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna get down to a knee. Always check all your options before you go, because sometimes you might not look at what the best one is if you rush it. A knee might be my best option. Such a weird lie. Good thing I'm C2 so I can fall forward. We don't need it. Oh, thought I might have cashed that. Need to go a little flat out of the hand. Or could have thrown a better upshot. Either one. We'll take a par though. First par of the round. Those of you guys who don't know what I've been putting with is the Anthony Barilla Signature Swirl CT Focus. Money. Nice and straight. Got a good bead for that finger placement, but can also handle some wind. Hole 4, 720 feet. Another hole you guys have seen in the past. I don't remember what number it was last year. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess hole 7 it was last year. It's 720 feet, and it kind of embodies what Mill Ridge is. It's all about picking your spots off the tee, make sure you keep it in bounds, and then attack from there. They did narrow in the out of bounds on that second shot, so that's the only difference on this one. Other than that, yeah, put it in bounds. Try to push it a little bit left towards that OB line on the left side to give yourself options into the green. Important to get a good wind read here. Pretty direct headwind. I'm debating between that compass or the crux, and I think I'll go to the crux with the wind just to make sure I can trust it a little more. It's about 330 to those bushes on the right of the corner, and you really want to avoid those, so it's a good marker to have. Safe is good at the ridge. It's always so interesting how the wind pulls around corners and through certain areas. On that tee, it really felt like it was mainly head, but then as you get out here, pretty much directly off the left, as you can see with that chalk hit. I got 430 in, slightly downhill, probably gonna play like 420 or so. I'm gonna play Halo Star Boss, out of bounds line on the right. It kind of dips in here. It's in line with those trees to the right of the basket, and then it kind of bubbles back out. But ain't gonna matter for this one. Because I trust my disc and I know where I'm going. Solid shot there. Looks like we skipped up into circle 1. We'll take it. Opportunity. Still got that left to right here on the green. Elevated basket. There we go. It's gonna be all about keeping it slow, keeping it steady this weekend. Trust my game, because I fucking got it, y'all. Come on, trust it. All right, y'all, I've got a theory as to why there's these little like fairy circles of hackberry trees out here. What happens is the birds eat the hackberries. They go sit in the other big trees. At one point, there was just one big tree here, one there, one there. What happens is the birds poop out the little hackberry seeds, and then boom, the hackberries are such a fast grower, they kind of overtake the canopy of the other tree, choke out the light on it, and they kind of take over, and it leaves a little fairy circle of trees behind. So, little tree knowledge for y'all. Hole 5 is what I like to call a pseudo dual option par 3. I call it a pseudo dual option because this right side where you can see the basket straight through is not really going to be chosen unless the player only throws with one style of spin. So if I'm only a clockwise spinner, if I'm only a right-hand backhand player, or only a left-hand forehand player, you're going to be forced down that gap. Every other player who has some duality to their game and the shot shaping options is going to go forehand here to avoid that out of bounds line that's kind of double punishing all the way along the right here, and also to be able to make sure they fly the fat side of the gap, keep that forehand in rhythm. I'm going to go opto stiletto. Key is to keep it low here to keep the energy moving forward because it is 375. Or I can just absolutely saw it off, hit the middle tree, and now I might be forced down the sucker gap. Who's a sucker now? Me. I guess I could just chip a high one down the left, but I feel like it'll be easier to park it down this narrow right side. So I'm gonna go the OTB color shift zone here. Just play a nice low ball, slide it up. Low ball, slide up in a C1, give me a chance. Don't try to do too much here. Gotta do better off the tee. You know, disc flip always plays on the channel. So I'm gonna take it to give myself a little bit extra room in this hobbit hole putt. All right, par mistakes are good mistakes. On to hole 6. Hole 6, a pretty tricky par 4, definitely one of the more elusive birdies out here. It takes 2 really good shots to get this one. 777 feet. You got a natural OB line with the rough on the left the entire way down into a little creek that definitely has some tight, thick wooden lines, so you don't want to be over there. Then out of bounds on the right. For MPO, you'll mainly see some spiking hyzers and the flip up fairway up the middle. I'm gonna go flip up fairway with this Nordic Phenom PD. Played at that second stand of trees, keep it low, on a little bit of hyzer, try to fight the headwind. There's a little more room left than you realize off the tee, so I think that should be good. Okay, I have 355 into the basket. I can either go spiking hyzer, which I think I'm gonna have to. I'm a little bit left. These trees are hanging down a bit, so I'm gonna elect for the spike hyzer here. Go with this Opto X Stiletto, that wine red that I just put in the bag. Nice, we'll call it, I don't know, Cabernet or Merlot. Y'all let me know in the comments which one should we call it. Try to spike it up over these trees. Headwind should help stall it over left. Ooh, barely caught the top of the last one to beat. Kicked left in bounds though, so we got a long opportunity at the elusive 6th. Pretty strong headwind off the right there. It's gonna keep the putt up in the air. So I'll give it a soft stab. Maybe just throw a regular standstill putt. Keep it in control. Stay up. Oh, wind kept me up just as I expected. Just needed to hang it out more right. Either way, long look at birdie here. I'm pretty happy. I'd like to execute that second shot, give it the height, which I definitely had the speed to give myself a pretty easy C1 look on a hole that'll get you strokes on, folks, if you can snag that bird. Okay, hole 5 was 375 feet, and hole 7 is going to be as well, but now all the options in the world available. Basket is blindly over this hill, about midway to the hole, not even. After about 120 feet here, it's down slopes all the way to the out of bounds pond long. Right side's inbounds this year, just some long grass to deal with. And important thing to do on this hole is find your aim point. For me, it's always kind of been the roof of that house that's hidden behind those lime green leaves over there. That's your swing point. You should fight back pretty nicely. I'm gonna go with the captain's Raptor. Head left to right to deal with, which I kind of like here. It'll help slow my disc down coming into the green. And maybe I bring the width in just a little bit to the left to fight it. Oh, did not bring the width into the left. Release flat there and smash myself over to the right. Gonna have a long putt on an elevated basket. I feel like as terrified as I am and most players are of ticks, this grass just gives you the heebie-jeebies. A little bit right to left, kind of dull right now. Let's try to take advantage. Sling one in there. Swing. Oh, oh, you got it. You tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, you hit the fucking cage. But at least it sat, and we're okay with that. Now let me know, who should I 1v1 in basketball this week? Who wants the action? Honestly, nobody. Nobody on the DGPT, at least. You know, you guys, I'm a big tree lover, and this massive, I think, dual cottonwood or something like that. I think it might be a cottonwood. Might be some type of maple. Not exactly sure. One of you locals, let me know, or I'll bust out the Google Lens. But this thing has a little throne here. You can chill, wait while you watch everyone throwing, and you know, maybe even pull some water out of this odd hole right here. I wonder who's living in there. Last year, there's some groundhogs living in this now down tree just in front of us. So I wonder if they moved into here. Anybody home? Hole 8, par 4, over the out of bounds pond, into the right, left to right, right to left, falling from right to left, side slope fairway. You really got to throw a big drive here to make this one attackable for that birdie. But anything in bounds will give you a long look at it. Though if you're not closer than like 400 feet, this one is pretty hard to get to. I'm gonna go Halo Boss. We have left to right headwind right now. Honestly, I love that wind for this hole because you don't have to worry about anything but just hitting it on hyzer angle and hitting it hard. We'll try to put one right past Robert Burridge right there. Oh, it's so high, so left, or so right. But honestly, that's fine up there. Like I said, long chance of birdie, but we're in bounds. All right, I want to see some creepy stuff. You're about to see 20 what they call house centipedes under here. Running around. Bet you don't want to find one of them things in your house. Apparently they're pretty harmless, but absolutely will scare the bejeebus out of you. All the isopod homies too. Shout out. A little bit tricky. I'd like to be another 40 feet at least to make this one a little better. But on the high side, especially if I can clear that drop zone, you have flatter footing. So something to be noteful of. But really, you don't want to push the either OB line here. Just put it somewhere in the middle. Right to left wind makes this upshot a little trickier. I'm just gonna punch this Halo Star Boss flat down the right side, a little bit out of range of that big forehand gap from here. It would be quite the smash, especially to draw it back against the wind. Not really doable. Looking to get along, look at 3. Anything inside the circle would be great here. Oh no, it's not even close, y'all. Yeah, that side hill footing kind of messed with me. Ooh, and I'm gonna have a tricky spot. Row of jail trees between me and the basket. Let's see how crafty we can get. Definitely not where you want to be on this one. This is tricky. I'm gonna take the biggest gap available, which is this one just to the right, or just to the left of my lie. Anything else feels a little weird. Throw a little dreamsicle faith at it. All right, very happy with that. One of those shots that the difficulty just can't really show on camera. I'm probably like, oh, it's so easy and short, Connor. You come stand right there. Let me know how many times out of 10 did you make the gap. I didn't need 10, I just needed 1. That's right. That right to left slope continues all the way on this hole. And we know pars are the mistakes we want. Some of you guys might recognize hole 9 as old hole 1 from I think 2023 out here. The only major change is they brought in an out of bounds line on the right. There used to be kind of infinite area off to the right to just blast one over, make sure you get the turn, and that was the safe miss. Now you got to be a little more measured with your shot. Headwind, right to left wind, make this one really tricky for the right-hand player if you like the over-the-top shot, which I do. So I'm going to try to hit the angle right, throw the Halo Star Boss. If anything, get out there and miss left and make some advancement. All right, one more check on that wind. Okay, more off the left than earlier, which is very favorable. So sometimes when it's windy, you got to go while the wind's favorable. Don't overthink it. That one's super high. Hopefully left to right will kind of smash it. Didn't hear tree limbs. Might be in bounds. We'll see. All right, unfortunately, I did find the side out of bounds I was talking about. But to be 9 holes in and have the first OB stroke, you know, feels like a slight win. Definitely been keeping it in control all day. And if the wind is tricky, I might just play a low shot, forehand through the gap there, come tournament time. Either way though, like I said earlier, missing on this side gives me a chance still to save par. Or hopefully at worst, a bogey. I've got a little over 400 feet into some headwind, so definitely a tricky distance, especially when it shapes left to right for the forehand. I got a couple discs I threw in my bag. Right after I shot the end of the bag, I have 3 discs that are in the bag that weren't. So, you know, it always changes week to week. It doesn't actually, but, you know, right now I have open bags, so I'm just kind of putting some different slots in. I realized I needed more overstable drivers, so I tossed this Rive back in. Used to be one of my go-to Rives for the headwind situations. Also threw in that, what was it, what do we call it? Was it Merlot or Cabernet? You guys let me know, don't forget. What are we naming that disc? I'm gonna pop this Rive though. Try to hyzer flip it into that headwind. Keep it low. Okay, I got a medium height, and so I lost some distance because of it, but hit the shape I wanted. C2 look for that par save, at worst bogey, and that's how you make the right mistakes. Now we're golfing, Con, come on. You know, you guys, I realized I've been doing too much of trying to be like a showman, trying to prove what I can do. Physically hit the disc, throw it farther than my card mates, show the fans what I can do. But who gives a crap? Throw the disc inbounds, be a golfer, take bogeys and pars, keep yourself in contention every week. Eventually you're gonna have a heater. You're gonna have moments where you can show off your skills. But the best skill to have is to be a golfer. Make your decisions, commit to them. Know the spots on the course that gain advantage on the field by having a thorough game plan. I mean, preaching to the choir, but the preacher about to learn. Let's go. Well, there's some things you just can't really know about a course until you see it a bunch of times, and I forgot that we had this wet area right here. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because it's a good spot to be. A little bit of a sloshy putt. I don't know, we have some rain in the forecast starting Thursday through Sunday. There's at least like a 40+% chance with little lightning bolt on the weather app. So you guys wish us luck out here for all the competitors to not only have a safe and healthy tournament, but for the weather to let us try to put on a show for you guys. Stay up! In control, soft bid. We'll take that first bogey of the round like a champ, and we'll move on. A little bogey here on 9 to finish out the front 9 of the Music City Open, presented by Another Round, Nashville, Tennessee. You guys go support your local shops, and don't forget to hit up otbdisc.com if you're looking for something virtual, or if you're in Stockton, California for the Champs Cup coming up soon. You gotta go check out the stock in person at OTB Discs. You'll probably see me there hanging out at the shop, so come say what's up. We can talk shop, talk discs, we can play some turbo putts. I'll beat your butt at that, you know, whatever you want. We'll be out there hanging. Big thanks to OTB Discs for supporting me, as well as Cardinal and Loot. It's been awesome bringing you guys more practice rounds this year, as well as a bunch of other content. So stay tuned for all that, and never be afraid to let me know in the comments how I can do better and how I can entertain you guys more, because you know we love that. And we love you guys. And we'll see you on the back 9 over at the OTB Discs YouTube channel.